Yeah,
Welcome
it is.
yeah, it is. Welcome to If They Won't Listen, episode 55 with me, my babe Erika, and Spencer. What's going on, guy?
What's going on, everybody? I'm just here having a great time, enjoying the beautiful weather, enjoying these two little pretty people in front of my screen. I mean, like, if I gotta look at anybody tonight, I'm glad it's you two.
No, you look like a movie star too, so you got it. I couldn't rock those sunglasses like that. That would not. That's like I'm a Ray-Ban kind of style guy.
Ray-Bans are awesome.
Yeah, I don't wear like the Ray-Bans. I'd break them or lose them, but like I wear Ray-Ban-esque.
Esque. I always like the esque. It always sounds sexier. Esque.
Yeah, it's better than being a full thing. Yeah. Yeah. And I don't wear capris. I just have short pants I grew out of, so they're capri-esque.
The capri-esque. I like that. Short pants grew out of. It's like being in the second grade, and it's like you get the pants in the fall, and then when you wear them again in like springtime, it's just like, why are my ankles so exposed?
I haven't grown since I was like 14.
Oh wow!
I'm 5 foot nothing.
5 foot nothing. Wow.
Yeah, and
I gotta admit, that's a pretty interesting height to be, 5 foot nothing, because it's like you see the same thing since you were 14. So like the world is never really above what you see at the age of 14. That's
I've gotten good at climbing though.
Oh yeah, you're like a real like climbing expert.
Yeah, I'll climb up on the shelves and on stuff, and I'll like climb up a tree. Like I love anything.
Far out. What's your favorite climbing movie?
Climbing movie?
Yeah. Like vertical limit, cliffhanger.
Cliffhanger was so good.
Right?
I loved that.
Who doesn't like to see Stallone shirtless?
Of course. And the opening scene is just so brutal.
Oh yeah, watching that little Teddy fall really broke my heart.
That was a rough moment. I remember watching that and I was like,
oh yeah. Stallone's selling it. You should have been nominated for Oscar. I don't know what the fuck happened.
And when I think climbing movie, all I think of is like 127 hours.
Like 100. Oh yeah, with the James Franco. You know, if you just reached a little bit further in his shelf, like you would have had that night.
Oh my god. No, I can't even imagine that happening. That's horrifying to me. Like going on, because like we talk about going up in the mountains with our daughters and going on a hike, and the mountain-esque version of callback of like what I would consider a danger in hiking, like where 127 hours went down, is like I don't want to be carrying a shotgun with 3-year-olds, but like you could run into an animal or animals where that would come in not just handy, but in you know, maybe a necessity. And it's like, so I think I might just stick to walking trails in highly populated areas. You know what I mean?
There you go. Yeah.
And
like, you know, keep in mind, it's like what I mean by that is like in 127 hours, it's like what happened to the real person is like incredible and heroic what he went through. That guy went through like feats of accomplishment for survival. Like nobody could ever compare it to his journey. And that's fascinating on his part. But the execution of that movie, like it gets a little too dramatic at times for me. Like I'm just like, all right, here we go. We're really, you know, pulling at the strings here, making people want to cry for the James Franco. I'm just like, listen, he's cute, but he ain't cry worthy, all right?
It's been so long since I've seen it. I thought I really liked it, but I saw it when it came out, so it's definitely been a while.
Yeah. No, it's. What'd you think? Like, what'd you think about it the first time, and what'd you think about it when you walked away again from it recently?
I don't know. Like, I haven't rewatched it recently. I was just referencing that, but I don't.
Okay.
What made me think about it is like, you know, with her, there's so many mountains out here that you could just point out and be like, let's go climb it. But like, it's the, you know, you just don't know what one has, you know, a lot of traffic and which one doesn't. And so
do you got stoplights? Like, is there like hike here, hike there, hike everywhere? We're gonna stop over here. You get a picnic over there.
There's sometimes trail signs. Like there's a shitload of like real trails on real maps. So like there's sometimes directions, but they're also finicky. Like I paid to go to the top of Equinox Mountain, and so it was like $21 to drive up in a car, and then like $8 for each person. So they really whale you, but they paved. It's like probably without overestimating, a 3-mile vertical drive of 45 degrees, maybe even a little steeper, like 48 or 50. Like it's really steep. So much so when you're coming down, you have to pull off 3 different times to let your brake pads kick it.
Oh, geez. What's the air quality like at that point?
It didn't feel thin at all, but it was clear. Like it tasted like there was no factory in sight for a very long ways. Like it's so many trees, it was delicious. But you get to the top and there's a big observatory that was closed when I was there. But there's a lot of hiking trails that go from mountain to mountain to mountain to mountain. And I went with my daughter's mom's brother. And so we're up there and we're looking out at views, and I have some pictures actually of the views, and it was gorgeous. Like I don't know how far we saw, but there was like 4 levels of a gradient. Like there was what was beneath me, like one level of mountains, and then another range that I could still see trees on the second range, but on the third and fourth range, it was like just light gray and black. And it was I don't know, probably at least 10 miles or something, or 5, ridiculously far. But we walked down the mountain and there was a trail sign that was like, go like 4 miles. And when you get 4 miles in, you take a right and then you can loop back up around to another viewing point and then up the mountain again. And I don't know. We followed the directions, but we never saw a second sign. And so like, I don't know, an hour later, you know what I mean? Where what we believed to be 4 miles, we're moving fast, like big legs, like kind of jogging down this hill. And a mile takes like 15 minutes to walk, like without care. So
that's insane.
Yeah, but
I mean, that's like insane in a good way. Like that must have been an awesome visual orgasm.
No, it was beautiful. The problem was that we got to the bottom of the mountain and we started climbing a different mountain. And it was only when we realized that we're going up again that like there's a problem, because we're going like, we knew that we like came down facing the north, and so we were waiting to loop to the like the east, and we never got that trail. And so when we started going vertical on another mountain, we were like, all right, we should turn around. And I don't know, we probably walked for like an hour and a half before we thought something was wrong, and then we turned around. So our hike to see a viewing path was like a 3-hour walk, and we were both in boots because we rode motorcycles. It was absolutely ridiculous. It was beautiful, but yeah, I can Google real quick what the elevation was on that. Absolutely beautiful.
So it was a kick-ass time. Were you on any substance at the time, or were you completely sober during all this?
We definitely had joints. So that's 3,855 feet.
I don't think anything in this side.
800.
3,855. Yeah, so no, definitely not super high, but coming from like ocean level, like Hampton Beach, like there's a big difference in air quality from Hampton Beach to 4,000 feet.
Sure. I mean, you're basically at ocean level, and then you go up to sky level.
Yeah. No, like sometimes you go up over a hill when you're like down in near Burlington and Manchester, Vermont, like towards the most southern part. There's part of the highway that goes up to like 1,400 feet or something, and it's like there's literal like, it's not fog that you're seeing, it's like a cloud that's going over, and it's on the road, and so like, it's hilarious. You got your wipers on full while you're driving.
How thick is it? How thick?
It's pretty thick, you know. I don't know, like there's a big, I think fog is always thin, and your lights can still see like their whole distance. It's just like yellow now in your car, at least. But like, I feel like not that I know what's a cloud when I drive through it, but I feel like, you know, it's a little thicker.
I went through there's one. Wait, hold up. There's a point
hold up. Back it up.
Anyway, there was a point in my life where like I lived in an area where it was like known as Cloud City, and I would get fog so thick I couldn't see what was in front of me. And this city had a lot of lights. So when fog went through, like you could see zero lights whatsoever. Like it was that dense. It was like, it was the coolest thing I was ever, like with Mother Nature. I'm like, Mother Nature is just coddling me in fog, and I love it. I'm just like, oh my God, you're like a mysterious angel.
I love nature. What's the worst nature you've experienced? Like I had there's an ice storm so bad in New Hampshire in 2008, there was t-shirts at gas stations. Like that was how bad it was. I lost power for 14 days and I had no school for 30 because my road was inaccessible. So like that's the like there's so many trees falling on the roof. I got like an hour of sleep, and then a 7-foot branch would hit the roof and make me think, you know, it was coming through. We had giant like 100-foot or 80-foot at least oak trees and giant hardwood trees around us. So I was always worried, or pine trees rather, you know, worried about them fucking snapping and high winds and ice, because it would rain and then it would freeze and then it would snow and then it would ice. It was fucking
That's
insane.
a real mind fuck. I'm sure there's a lot of potholes that spring too.
Oh yeah. Where we live, we're used to that. Like your car gets repaired often.
The car gets repaired often. Wow. Auto mechanics must be kings over there and queens.
Well, you're used to that. You're from New York City, but I mean, cars are much less useful in New York City.
That is true. They're much, but then again, people still know how to fill up the streets.
Yeah, I wonder if you have better budgetary concerns for like road. Like, are your roadways potholey? Like we got some fucking 12-inch ones out here. They're like, if you hit, your car is out for the night.
Oh yeah, they got that. Go down the FDR, right down that Roosevelt Expressway. You'll see a shit ton of potholes. Some potholes you don't even you want to avoid, not just because you don't want your car busted. You just don't want to get your car busted like on that part of the highway.
Okay.
It's like insane. It's insane. But like I lived in an area where I always grew up around potholes, and I have a feeling that like because like oil prices are so high and everything, like repaving a road is not as easy as it once was, and I mean that like fundamentally. And therefore it's like, because it's not as fundamental as it was, like roads that like used to get repaired every 8 years are now getting repaired every 12 years. And like, no matter how much of a patching job you do, like that shit's still going to pop up. You could cold patch it, you could hot patch it, you could tack it up all day. It's still going to shoot out after like 3 to 6 months.
Yeah. Frost heaves are a real bitch, man. Water gets everywhere, and if you're imperfect in an inch, water will get in there and expand to 2 to 3, and you know you find you find your way into imminent repair eventually. And that's the problem with cars too. Like, you know, like in California, a lot of cars have a different conception of lifespan, because a car at 300,000 miles can keep getting parts and motors put into it realistically because the frame's good. But out here, you don't get that.
No, you don't get that. You don't get it because you're too busy bouncing around. Your whole frame's all left up. Like, how many times do you have to do a proper wheel adjustment?
Oh, a lot, but no, it's not even the bumping around. I mean,
or a wheel alignment. Excuse me.
A lot, but it's not even the bumping around. It's the salt. Like the fucking salt, dude. It just eats the shit out of your car. You know.
It does. Every time when I kick it up and I hear like bing around in the fucking the body of the vehicle, I get so annoyed.
It's like driving away from a gravel road. Ting, 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 ting.
Oh yeah, but worse. And then the worst part is you got a truck in front of you and they're kicking up and it's hitting your windows and you're like, oh no, you're slowly chipping away my window. What's going on? No! Like, that's how I feel about it. How do you feel about that?
I've never had anything come through my windshield. I broke my rear view mirror off the inside of my windshield like 3 months ago, and I refused to replace it because it was just like, I don't know. It was like the end of winter and it was cold outside, and I went out and I adjusted it and it left in my hand.
Oh my God.
That's all I have to say, you know.
And he's still driving around with no ticket?
Legally, you only need 2 mirrors.
Word, legally 2 mirrors.
You don't need 3. Like,
you don't need 3.
You only need 2. And frankly, like, as long as you don't drive, you know, like I avidly check my mirrors. But
hey, listen, if CDL licenses could drive with 2 mirrors, so can you.
Right. Well, in like, I had my first car my dad bought me was a 1980s Toyota Celica, and that only had 1 mirror on the driver's side and then the rear view. It had it didn't even have a mount on the passenger door for a passenger mirror.
Jesus
and like
Christ.
That was still allowed today, and it wasn't even grandfathered in because that's just legal. You only need 2 mirrors. And like, that's when I first learned about it, was because I was like, oh, this has 2. And to be honest, like, the mirror is only whatever, we'll call it 10 inches wide or something, and 3 inches thick or 2 inches thick, and like, you know, vertically. But the problem is like looking left and looking right, like it takes up more space, like in an angle way. So I don't know, you lose like freaking 15 inches of windshield without it. My horizons look so much better. Like it's much better. I like it.
Yeah, why not? If it's better, go for it. And Horizon's the way to go. That's why it's called Horizon, because it's on the horizon of greatness.
Yes, absolutely.
All right.
Have you watched any of the Ed and Lorraine Warren films?
Yeah, the Conjuring films. I watched some. I tell you something, man. That Raggedy Ann doll scares the shit out of me, man. I gotta be honest with you. I don't fuck with dolls. And there's a doll in Florida that if you look at Google, just Google this doll in Florida. It's like a lifelike size doll. It's got a sailor cap, and this doll is like known to just give bad luck to people who own it. And the history of the doll has a very unique origin story. And I'll tell you something, man. Like I do not fuck with ghosts. I do not fuck with spirits. I don't think bad things upon like energy or spirits, because like I see what the movies show me, and like even though some of them could be true, some of them mostly fake, I don't want to fuck with that shit. I don't want anybody paranormal activity my goddamn bedroom at 3:00 in the morning. All right.
Trying to sleep.
Trying to sleep, yes, or trying to plow the night away, either or.
No,
but
like,
I do not want Lorraine or Edwin or whatever his name is in my place. What is it?
If you
Ed.
Ed. I don't want Ed. I don't want them.
I don't want Ed. If you had,
I don't want to go see their museum of fucked up, unspiritual, nasty shit, man.
If it exists, awful. I would want to see it.
What?
Dude, like that's first of all, I don't know. A ghost to me.
That's how I died.
Ghosts to me are attractive because I can never tangibly believe one. Like I don't know. Ever since there was a thing in Sherlock Holmes where he was like, someone drugged him once, and he immediately knew like this isn't anything I've experienced before, and so he immediately took it like I must be drugged or you know something's broken my head. Like there's an immediate difference that I need to compensate for now, and I got to figure it out. You know, and I appreciated that because he illustrated it such as like, I know my senses, I know what my eyes have seen, I know like I've slipped a grip on something, but I know what my hands have done. He doesn't say all this, but nonetheless, he's just like, I'm confident in my senses and I've not experienced this. And it really, I don't know, it's like a defining moment in my head where it's like, yeah, dude, you trust your senses. Like when I see a shadow, I more quickly assume that it was my brain misunderstanding the depth of a shadow, and I thought it was something else. You know what I mean? But because I don't know.
You ever get deja vu? You ever see something out of the eye of your corner?
Yeah, I've had it happen in this apartment. I was standing in the kitchen, and my computer was on full rainbow mode, so this room was kind of flowy with colors anyway, so I was used to when I looked over here seeing things move. So it's not like I was a guy who had a completely still place and something moved. Like the room was already fully moving, and but nonetheless it was all colors. And I was standing in the kitchen. The door was like probably open like 15 inches, and I saw something like what I thought to have seen was something, a shadow, zoom by the crack in the door. And my first thought was, no big deal. You have cats, bro. But no, my daughter's mom has my cats. I don't have cats. So like then it was like, you know, and like I consciously was like, yo, I'll apologize if I have to, but like just leave me alone. You know what I mean? I'm agnostic until I need to be otherwise. Like if one presented itself, how high do I need to jump, good sir?
I don't know. It's a good question. What about you? How do you feel about ghosts?
I don't know. I feel like I definitely believe there's something else going on. Cause like
you ever seen any of them?
Not like no, I wouldn't. I mean, I've like maybe seen like my dog after she died. Like I thought I saw her out of the corner of my eye one time, like running out of my room, and I like whipped my head to look, and she wasn't there. But I was like really confused because like I had known she had died, so I was like.
Yeah, it's a complete mind trip. Well, let me ask you something else. Have you ever felt the presence of one?
I've definitely felt like spooked out in like rooms, or like I feel like I get vibes from like people more so, like good or bad vibes pretty quick from people, but
like almost like Danny from like Shining, how he just like, yeah, my dad's fucking nuts.
That's a movie. I'm not even fucking with you. Like I've been having this. I don't know if we're gonna call it deja vu, but I've been having what I believe to be topic-based deja vu, because like I'll be listening to Rogan and he'll bring up how, you know, like that controversial thing in The Shining about, or that scene, or like he'll have a movie director on who referenced it, and so I've heard about that scene with that they made that lady film that scene like whatever, the 70 or 170 times or something ridiculous, and she had like actual trauma from it. It seemed like.
The actress, Stanley Kubrick was like kept making her like do the same scene.
He didn't say it was right
until she was broken.
Yeah, until her spirit was completely gone. Like, although I appreciate that in my Navy SEALs, I don't know if that was right for that lady. You know what I mean?
No.
So, but
that was like a generation of directors who would like command like demanding stuff from people and like break them down psychologically.
But so I've never seen it. And to sum it up shortly, I've heard about it in like 3 different podcasts, 2 different people at work, and just a random passing by like coincidence I heard about it. And so like in my mind, I need to fucking watch The Shining. Like I've never seen it. I know for a fact, not even a little bit. And I've heard so much about it, but most of what I hear is it's bad, and not by people who I think actually know anything credit. Like they're people who would tell me most things I brought up are bad. So like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like people who say Endgame is bad. Like leave me alone. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. People, hey, listen, haters are going to be out there no matter what. Okay. You're never going to satisfy everybody, because if we did, we'd be in a utopian society by now.
Yeah, no, every single year, dude, people were like, I hate this Call of Duty. A large group. And like, I was just like,
hey, it's all about time. Give it time. That's the problem with today's time, is that everyone's so disappointed when it comes out. But like, you give it 5 years, everyone starts to turn around, and then give it another 5 years, and people are like, hey, you know, that was really great at its time. Like, I don't understand why nobody else got it. I got it. You're like, full shit. You didn't get it till 3 months ago.
Yeah, you're playing the remastered version. Don't lie to me.
Yeah, dude, you don't even know what those original like pixelated shots were like when we were playing Mortal Kombat in our time.
Yeah. No, there's one of those feelings in Destiny. Destiny was the first person shooter, with the first game that I'm aware of that had the creators of Call of Duty and Halo combined to build a game, and so it was destined for greatness to begin with. It was a spectacle, and it still is. A lot like
no pun intended.
Indeed, a lot of fucking critics, but impeccable game, beautiful story work. I even have it on my computer. Nonetheless, that game had what was I gonna say? That's a good question.
I don't know, but you said computer, and to go off a computer, your fucking computer looks like something Superman would want to avoid.
Her favorite color is green, so we were just like.
I love the color green.
Green's awesome. You know what they say about people who pick green? They're smart people.
I knew that study as well. Like that, they said that was the color of intelligent people.
I've liked it since forever. It's been my favorite color forever.
She's super humble though. She would never tell you she's smart, even if she brings up something smart. She'd be like, nah, good luck.
That's cool. That's cool. You always need the humble people in life.
Mm-hmm.
Look at me. I'm too flamboyant. I'm just out there. I don't know what I'm talking about half the time. Just words vomit out of my mouth. Anyway, speaking of vomit, I love to vomit joy.
Joy?
Speaking of which, joy. I don't know.
I'm trying to assimilate what I freaking forgot. But
you ever read The Joy of Cooking? It's a great cookbook. It's called The Joy of Cooking.
I'm lactose intolerant.
That's okay. It's got lactose intolerant ingredients, non-lactose intolerant ingredients. Hey, it'll tell you just to put spinach and olive oil together with some garlic, and just be like, oh shit, this is good. But like, you know, it's cool. It's cool. You know what? You're better off. You know, human species are the only ones who actually still drink milk after the infancy process. It's wacky. We're such a unique species. We choose to keep going with something we don't need.
You're right. I mean,
is there another? I mean, outside of like artificially made supplements, is there another way of significant efficacy to get calcium outside of milk?
Calcium.
To me, that's the only
oranges. Oh no, yeah, it's got vitamin C. It's got vitamin C. It doesn't have calcium. Calcium. Take collagen.
Will taking collagen alone fulfill what the FDA would call the average human's dietary needs for it? Because like that's my only concern is like when I was growing up, it was called drinking for bones, and when I didn't have weakness, but I knew in my mind like, and there's nothing else I eat that I have.
I'm sorry, I was checking if I had a PhD with that question there. That's why I was like, kind of continue.
Hey, everyone's got vitamins, man, and
everyone.
From what I know, vitamins are a lot more like hormones. Like everyone treats vitamin D like it's a vitamin, but if you don't have it, your body doesn't react properly. Like it's not.
Why do you think senior citizens take Centrum? It's like Viagra to them. They get ATP, they're satisfied.
What's Centrum?
Centrum is a over-the-counter pill that gives you all the daily vitamins that you need every day. And they got Centrum Silver. I used to be a spokesman for them, in my head at least at the age of 4. And
so it's a multivitamin for old people, but it's called Centrum?
But it's not really for old people. It's like for everybody. And then they branched out. So like, let's say you've got some bad joints. They got stuff that will give you tons of calcium for your joints. But like, if you're not going to do like, listen, calcium really comes from like milk and like meat and stuff like that. And like to go outside and find, yeah, calcium's in meat. Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, it's not. It's you know, it's got a good percentage, but it's not like the overall percentage like iron is. Like iron has a higher percentage of meat. Everything has vitamins in it. It's just about how many vitamins it has. Look at corn. Corn's useless.
I know. I hate that, man. That's one of my
like as a vitamin. No, it tastes great.
Yeah, but it's a filler. It's like, you know, it's what's in between what you're eating.
Exactly.
Like, it makes my I'd rather get the
juices. Give me the juices from the corn. That's better than anything else you could give me off that thing.
You know, people think cream corn is an abomination because it's lesser than corn. I'm like, get out of my face.
Listen, people gotta eat, man. And women, people gotta eat. Who gives a shit if it's in a can? You know why it's in a can? Because you create classism. That's why it's in a can.
No, do you like cream corn though?
I don't know. I like cream spinach. I like cream spinach.
they make corn that's cream, bro.
Listen, I heard cream corn. I never had cream corn. I'm not a big fan of eating corn. But I like corn husk. I like to cook with corn husk. I like corn milk. And you know, that's just taking the cobs and just kind of putting into some milk and let it like, you know, like kind of marry for a little bit. And that way you got this nice milk. Yeah, so like look, you take the corn off the cob, and then you got the cob. And then you take the cob, you put it into a pot. And then you take the pot, you put it on the stove top. And then you get it nice and warmed up. Then you get your liquid. Your liquid's milk. Or it could be water in your cases. And then you do a little pour. You feel like Emerald Lagasse. You go bam right into the pot. And then after that, you let it just kind of simmer. Let it simmer for about half hour, 45 minutes, until you think it's good but not scorched. And then you got this beautiful corn flavored milk. And you go, whoa! Where have you been my whole life?
Do you want to know one of the biggest things that hurts me?
What hurts you, Rich? Because it's going to hurt me too, because it hurts you.
If I put milk on the counter of 100 degree day on a 100-degree day, it's going to sour very fast. But I can boil it and it's perfectly fine.
Oh yeah, that's
that fucking pasteurization. That irritates me so much. Like it's the same thing as like there's a word for like when you blend something a certain way and add the oil slowly or whatever. I forget.
Emulsification.
Yeah. So I didn't know about that, and I was making salad dressings, and so it wasn't combining. And they were like, "Oh, you gotta emulsify," and I was like, "What the like? That's not fucking intuitive." No one.
You know what's an easy way to emulsify?
What?
Just put shit in a bottle, like put shit in a squeeze bottle, shrink it up, and then you sprinkle, and it's emulsified. It's the easiest way to emulsify anything. Anything.
You can shake it in?
Oh yeah, come on, yeah. You put it in a squeeze bottle. You put your olive oil in there, whatever kind of oil you got. You put like I like balsamic. I like balsamic dressing a lot. So what I do is I put a little balsamic vinegar in there. And then after that, get some smashed like garlic because I just like garlic because, you know, I'm part Italian. So why not garlic? Garlic, boom! There you go. I'm Gassy. And then you cover it up. You hold the top. You always got to put the finger over the top because if you don't, you're going to be spraying all that shit all over your goddamn kitchen. But just going to clean it up. You are. You don't want to clean that shit up. Anyway, so you go shaky, 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 shaky. And then you go pour, pour, pour. And it's emulsified to perfection.
So I used to make like I would mix all my ingredients. I would mix them all in a bowl and I would whisk it, but they didn't combine.
Well, you're not whisking fast enough.
There we go. That I needed someone on my shoulder to tell me that, and I would have been a better whisker.
You're dealing with a world-class chef here, and I'm not saying that in a highbrow way.
No, that was just one of the kitchen first and maybe one of the only kitchen experiences where like, okay, that and understanding how food goes bad. Because like as a kid, I was told don't put anything hot in the fridge. And then when I was in the restaurant, I literally looked at the chef and I was like, can you explain some shit for me? You told me to pull a brisket off the grill last night and put it in the walk-in. Just don't cover it. And I was like, and that's what they do. They take it off like 10 or 15 degrees away from when it's properly cooked. Then they walk in it. And then when the customer orders it, they just recook it a little bit to finish it. And that keeps it super fresh. And it was delectable. But.
Well, I mean, listen, like, you know, the botulism, food contamination, they're very sensitive things. You got to learn how to store things at proper times and places. And the thing is that being in a household, you don't have the same accessibilities that you would do in a commercial kitchen. That's why there's A and B. And when you went to and B, you learned a lot of things. Like, for instance, pickling. Let me tell you something. People buy pickles out of the jar and pay like maybe $3 to $5 for it. You're getting ripped off. Like, you could go home and just make your own goddamn pickles. And you're spending like $3, but then $3 are going to extend out to a whole year. It just food blows my mind in general because it's like there's so many different ways you could handle it, take care of it, nurture it, and feel good about it. Like you were mentioning, like how you don't know how food goes bad. Well, let me put it to you this way: food is like a flower, and like all flowers, if you don't give it enough water or enough nutrients, then therefore it will go bad. And therefore, if you do not put the food in the right climate, it will go bad. That's why when you freeze it, you hold it at a very specific temperature for X amount of time. But you got to make sure X amount of time doesn't go too far because then you create frostbite on your food. You don't want frostbite on your food because your food got too frozen. It got so frozen, it froze out. And then after that, you got like stuff you keep in the fridge. So you may put something hot and put it into the walk-in. You're doing a hot flash on that where you kind of make it cold instantly on the outside. But the problem is that you're not making cold on the inside. And that's when you got to do a water bath and kind of put it like in a Cambro or something and have the Cambro be within another Cambro that has water and ice. So it can cool down the food fast. But the problem is most people don't want to do that because it takes too long. But the thing is that if you don't do it properly, you could create botulism. This is why kids and senior citizens shouldn't eat raw food at a young age or an old age. And I am speaking too much about food right now. And
what do you mean botulism? What is it? Is that like salmonella, but for that version of a meat? That's the outcome if you eat it raw.
I hear what you're saying. Yeah, you could look at it in that synopsis. Like what salmonella is with chicken to people. Botulism is to like
a beef
proper stored food
to
people. So like because it could come in any way. It could come through meat. It could come through vegetables. It's all on how you store the food.
Okay.
But you could also get botulism through jarring. You know how there's some people who jar from home and then you hear them getting sick because they didn't do it properly. Like that's a serious thing. You gotta watch out for botulism. You could kill people.
So how do you do it wrong? I've never pickled, but you make me want to pickle. How do you do it wrong?
You should pickle. Learn how to pickle. Have a fun time pickling. So what you want to do is you want to get some vinegar. You want to get some ingredients. You want to get like whole spices. So like get me whole black pepper. Get me some whole garlic. Get me some whole dill. and then you just kind of like put it all in this jar with the cucumbers and stuff like that. Thank you. With the cucumbers and stuff, and then after you get this nice hot liquid, then you just kind of like, it's all vinegar based, so and could have some water cut into it to cut down on some of the vinegar base, but like you're gonna have like like some kind of ratio that works best for you. And then usually people either add salt to make it a little bit more briny, or they could add sugar to make it a little bit more sweeter. And then like it kind of
like bread and butter might be sugar, not salt.
Yeah, it could be more or less sugar. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then what happens is that you want to boil the sugar within the pot, because it's the best way to make it dissolve. And the same scenario goes well with salt. And then finally, you pour it over the herbs, spices, vegetable, and then after that, you want to put it into a water bath that has ice and water in it, and then you're going to stir it up the whole time to allow the liquid to cool down as fast as possible. Once you do that, you're going to seal it up, label it the date that you made it, so that way you have an understanding of what the start date is, and you leave it in your fridge. You don't touch it for like 3 months. For 3 months, don't touch it. Because what you're going to do is, it's like, pickling is a lot like having like wine. You know how they say the longer the wine ages, the better it gets to taste? Well, that's the same thing with pickling. It gets better as the longer it ages. So like, as long as you have it going for 3 months, that's a good start time to playing around and trying it. But like, you can leave it for a year, and like, again, kept in proper safe conditions, it's going to be really amazing. One time I did a thing with ramps. I did some whole white pepper, I did scallions, and like I had all this other stuff. Garlic.
What was the first thing you said?
Ramps. Ramps are like are in the onion family. They're like they kind of remind you of a scallion, but except they're more pungent in taste. And I mean that in a good
those aren't
way.
Those aren't like the baby onions, like the golf ball onions.
No, not like golf ball onions. They're a little bit different. They got like more of a vein to them, and they're a little bit more purple.
Oh, okay. So
they're only in season in April.
Oh.
Yeah. That's how like specific they are in seasoning. Like you can have them only in April. After that, boop, gone for another 11 months.
Wow. Okay, yeah, I didn't know what that was. Okay. No, I feel you. Pickling definitely, like my daughter's grandmother did it, and she made some bread and butter ones, and they were delicious. My only speculation was that I'm sure there's a big difference in preservatives, because the one I had in my fridge, I had it for about a year, and granted, once I opened it, I did reclose the mason jar properly, but the pickles wilted, and they were of proper size, like they were proper thickness, not any thicker, and we're talking about 8 fractions of a cucumber. They're not pickles anymore, and so they were already pretty thick, and they got like wet lettuce over an hour. You know what I mean? Like they just got So I threw them out. But like I've had a jar of bread and butter pickles in this apartment for 6 months, and I open it like every other day and eat 2 of them. And I've just never had wilted pickles from a grocery store aisle. So it must be a preservative difference or something. That's just a speculation.
Yeah. I mean, you can pickle practically anything. It's pretty cool. And
I can pickle steak tips.
Steak tips, like actual literal steak.
Like probably not, right? Like you mean in the fruit or vegetable family?
No, you can't do that. But what you can do to meat that people don't realize is that you can confit meat and keep it at, like, for instance, if meat is submerged in like oil or some type of fat, it will never go bad.
What is confit for a newbie?
So confeting something like, let's say you take a chicken thigh, right? You submerge it into, like, let's say ghee. Ghee is butter, but without the fat cells.
Okay.
And then after that, so the ghee is a fat, right? And then you have the chicken. So what happens is that you have it cook at a specific temperature, and you kind of let it cook for a while. And then when you're done, you pull it out. And when you pull it out, it's almost like the meat falls right off the bone because it's cooked to such a perfect perfection. It's okay. I love laughing at meat falling off the bone. Sometimes it gets me really horny, and sometimes it just makes me want to eat some food. It depends on the mood I'm in.
but so that never goes bad as opposed to a regular thing you cook?
Well, that's cooking with an oil. Now, let's say you want to store chicken or a steak. Like, you could just essentially grab some fucking olive oil, pour that into a pot, and throw in some steak in there. And as long as it's fully submerged with no air bubbles, like, that meat won't go bad. Even if you have it at room temperature.
Really?
Yeah. Because it's fat. The fat is preventing air from spoiling the meat. So
air is the only thing that spoils meat. Like, in the same way that a fire can't start without air. Air is the only thing that fucks up food.
Air. It always comes down to air. And of course, sun and air, because it's like your skin. What happens when you get too much sun? Your skin dries up, and then after that, you could be all red, or you could be tanned, or whatever, depending on your genes. By the way, size 34, just telling you. Anyway.
I'm Italian, about 3/16 Mexican sometimes.
3/16. It depends on what day you want Mexican food.
No, I'm not gonna lie. I get really.
What do you mean 3/16? What do you mean when you feel like it? Explain the feel like it.
Well, when I lived near Hampton Beach, I could get so much sun that I didn't even have a tank top, like farmer's tan. And now that I live in Vermont, it's just the climate's different. Everyone here is so deficient in vitamin D. It's proper for
because you're up in the clouds, right?
Yeah,
you're in a higher altitude. So you're not getting enough sunlight. You're not getting that vitamin D. But you know what you can do to get vitamin D? Eat tomatoes.
I just started liking tomatoes, and I should supplement vitamin D, and I have the bottle in my apartment, but my willpower to take it is that of my willpower to match socks. So what she doesn't
that's why you gotta get unique socks. You gotta get your Flash socks, your Batman socks, your Wonder Woman socks.
I think my perfect
your Batgirl socks, your Catwoman socks, Poison Ivy socks. By the way, everyone should have a pair of Poison Ivy socks. And I'm not just saying it because because smart people pick green. I'm just saying it because Poison Ivy is a cool character. But anyway, that's just my 2 cents on the subject. Listen, tell me a story, please.
I think my perfect life is all the same color socks and all the same color shirt and just a big closet. And so whenever I get a messy shirt or a messy pair of jeans, it's like I have 2 pairs in my backpack. We're kicking it.
Kicking. I love how you kick it. You kick it. Nobody kicks it better than you do, Rich. You kick it like a Polaroid camera.
Can you still buy film for those?
I can still buy film. Yeah, it's called eBay, baby. eBay's got everything. It's like the black web of wholesomeness.
Do you think that has any property that I've seen little cute Amazon USB plug-in ones of those that you can plug into your iPhone and take a pic and instantly print out? Do you think the tech has advanced in those more than what a Polaroid is? They're just for the feeling of the old thing, right? They're not better than today's, right?
No, I don't fucking know. Hey, develop me a picture. I'm impressed. If I gotta see it digitally, that's okay.
I don't know. I could have sworn I've seen people print right off the iPhone and shit.
I believe people can print right off the iPhone. The problem is I'm not in that budget range to know that even exists yet. Just expand a little bit. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Quick. So really quick, do the viewers know how you two met?
Yeah, we talked about it with Leon and I think I talked about it with you two.
So problem. So the viewers hear about your wonderful week that you've had? I think you two should go on the wonderful week you had. Tell us all the exciting things that have happened. Is it like 4th of July with fireworks? Or is it more like Christmas where it feels all warm and cozy?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll just stop it real quick. You grab your drink and
I got good shit face.
boom.
Recording in progress.
Well, we just used the pause button for the first time. I'm kind of fucking excited.
I felt like Mario right there. I just got paused.
Do you want to know something that made me really happy? So,
yes, of course. Tell me.
do you know the big craze, right, with people doing reaction videos, right?
Yeah, I've seen that in the press. Like when you had reaction videos of like 2 girls, 1 cup.
No, but so like the PG ones that can survive on Facebook, but so you get in like 100% of the screen is a clip, and then they take like 10% of the corner to show you a person. And so either the person is there the whole time, or like what Charlie Sheen and today what I found out George Lopez both do is they both post viral videos of car crashes and crazy explosions and construction accidents and all these viral stuff to get views and get monetized and paid. And what they do is when the big shit happens in the clip every like 8 seconds, a little picture of them pops up in the corner and they go, wow, can you believe it? And it's really funny. It's like a soundboard of them with a video clip of them saying it. And I found out today that George Lopez is all white now, like as far as hair on his face and head, and he looks distinguished as fuck. I saw him and I heard his iconic voice. I used to watch the George Lopez show or whatever, on the show with the trampoline intro.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I remember watching on Nickelodeon.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, no, he just looked great.
George Lopez is a hell of a guy. Let me tell you something. That's the kind of dad you just want to know. I don't want him as my dad, but like if I had a friend who had a dad, I want him to be George Lopez.
I want him to be. I like that. I think that's cool. I really like Charlie Sheen. Not for his crazy sexual conquest, but I really loved 2.5 Men before Ashton Kutcher took over. Not that I disliked it with him, but I'm not gonna lie. When Ashton Kutcher left, when he took over, I left the show like Brady did the Patriots. Like I was, you know what I mean? I was out.
Yeah, no, you went 41 out.
And now I don't watch the Patriots. Like I stopped caring about football when Brady left the Patriots, and now I don't even watch him on the new team. I don't even know what the new team is. That's how much I paid attention.
Tampa Bay.
There we go. I knew. I'm pretty sure I could have said.
Not to mention your boy Tom Brady won the Super Bowl last year.
Yeah, on his first year on the new team?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's Jesus. Like, and he's like what, 8 years past what they would hire a guy as a professional NFL football, star.
That man trains like a machine.
And he's married to a supermodel. Like he has to. He's got
a helicopter's license. Like this guy.
He has a helicopter license?
Yeah, he has a helicopter license. His wife doesn't let him fly, but like he has a license.
I don't blame him.
Or she's only allowed to fly certain times. Like. No, like it's interesting because like when he got his helicopter license, I'll never forget this because I indulge in fantasy football. So the thing is that Bill Belichick made a thing in his contract that he couldn't fly the helicopter during the on season. Yeah. No, he's like, you can't fly this on season. Off season, do whatever the fuck you want. On my time, you ain't doing this.
That's
he made Gordon Bombay look like a celery stick.
What scares you more? So that there's 2 things in the air that scare me, and I'm comparing them also to how much the ocean would scare me if I ever traveled across it for any means to like Europe or something. But because I definitely like.
I'll go with you, by the way.
Awesome.
We'll do it perfect storm style, except we'll live.
Dude, the storm was wailing during my birthday, my birth year.
On your birth year.
Yeah, not the birth year, but it was rolling during my birthday. Like the storm hit land like the 27th or something.
Okay.
Or the 28th, and then it rolled through Halloween. But
that's right.
Yeah. I love seeing the picture when on the VHS tape I used to watch when the date came up. I was like, ooh, you know what I mean?
With the boat being almost submerged underwater, that big wave.
Yeah, am I losing my mind? Do they show Plymouth Rock in that movie? I feel like that's flashed. No, they don't? Okay, I'm out of my mind.
Plymouth Rock? No, is it Plymouth Rock's in Virginia?
Are you sure?
I thought Plymouth Rock was in Virginia.
I'm pretty sure. I mean, I don't know. I took a field trip to some big rock near Boston, like on the ocean coast, and it was signed by a bunch of people, and it was of significance. Maybe I'm thinking of the wrong rock.
Maybe. Wait.
My rock affairs ain't saved well.
You're saying it's Plymouth Rock, right?
That's my guess. I'm shooting in the dark here.
Okay, so where's Plymouth Rock? Plymouth Rock is in. I stand corrected. It's in Plymouth, Massachusetts.
Okay, so that's definitely where I went on the field trip when we saw the rock. But I thought, okay, yeah, no, because
what's in Virginia?
Virginians?
No. There's like a Virginia rock too.
I don't doubt it. You know that there's points around the country that like there's parts of a city that are mapped out at the exact topographical level of ocean level.
I'm sorry, say that again.
So I don't know the name for it, but in layman's terms, there's points around the country that specifically aren't that close, and some are close to ocean level, like what we call ground zero. Like, you know what I mean?
So almost like Athens. Like Athens is below sea level. And then there's some areas that are just on the same cusp as sea level.
Exactly. And there's platforms in cities around the world that become tourist attractions, and there's a special name for them that are equal to the what we believe sea level to be. And I just think it's funny that if in like 100 years the sea moves, like you're either gonna have to adjust the city or just accept that people can't know you're lying. It's changed 10 feet, but no one knows. Just be quiet down.
This kind of seems very similar to like a round Earth curve for flat Earth. Like I think the Earth's round, and I could be right or I could be wrong. There's people out there think there's flat, and just what you're saying right there kind of reminds me of that. It's like with water, it's just like there's always something somebody's got to talk about. It can't just be cut and dry. Like they're like, no, you don't understand. It's like the precipice of like being below sea level is like almost endangering because you're going to get submerged by water. But then again, you're going to have some rich soil. And then it's just like, if you're too high above sea level, it's like, you're not going to get the good, tasty water air. You're just going to get some dry, moist air up in the sky. And you're going to go, that's crisp air. That's some crispy air. As opposed to like the smorgasbord of like air that you get by the ocean. I don't know. That's just the way I'm thinking right now.
No, so the thing that I always go to, and like not that I would ever get into this conversation with somebody, but if you've ever seen a space movie, the reason spaceships.
Which one?
Calm down, Steven. Okay. If you've ever seen a space movie, the hypothetical principles of creating gravity in a ship are done through centrifugal force in a circle, in the same way that you can create in a garage in a negative vacuum the illusion of no gravity, because with no air there's no there's no density and volume difference, and all these different principles change in physics. And so it's just interesting because like if the world was flat, you couldn't equivocate how gravity would exist, because gravity only exists because we're spherical and the pressure makes us spherical. Like that's the only, like that's so it's like if you jump and don't land, I'll believe your principles are stronger than mine. But in a garage with $1 million, I can prove to you that a circle spinning spherical object in negative space would create gravity. Like I could create a real physical experiment where you could prove that if money wasn't an option.
Absolutely. No, and you're absolutely right about that. And I like how you put that. It's like you need a rotational thing to kind of make space, to make gravity work.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like in your garage, you just got to eliminate the speed of the rotation, and then you have zero gravity.
Yeah. You know, like, you know, in Armageddon.
Or you match the speed of gravity.
Such a good movie.
Which one?
I said like in Armageddon when they when they go inside the big space astronaut test chamber to see what it's like in zero gravity, they just suck all the air out, and then they become in an area where it's different.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No.
You know,
and that's an interesting little movie.
Dude, I cry every time, bro. It's such a.
Do you really cry?
Every time.
I'll tell you something. I always cry for little animal crackers. They never get eaten. They just get shoved down places they shouldn't be shoved down.
I know. It always gets me when the dad gets, especially since I watched it the first time since I was a dad. The part when the dad is talking to the mother of his, son, and he's like, just give this to him, and then she sees him on TV. That breaks me up. And then the part when they land and the son runs up and they all hug, like that fucked me up, man. That like a little bit.
Do you know the actor who plays the dad?
I don't. I mean, I know
In
his
that movie?
face intimately.
Yeah,
but-
yeah.
Bruce Willis?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, that's who plays the dad of that little boy?
No,
He's two roles?
Of the little boy.
not the
What
little boy.
No,
He's talking about a side character in the movie.
I'm talking about one of the guys who
Oh,
survived
that guy! He's like, yeah, he gives his son the
There's
car,
the rocket
right?
ship. The rocket ship.
The rocket ship, yeah.
That, that fucked me up.
Like, you're a complete degenerate, a gambler, you're a douchebag father, and then all of a sudden he lands back onto Earth, and the woman's there with the son, and it's just like you get so wrapped. Dude, you get so wrapped up in that movie in like such an easy way. Like, I don't even understand how I even got emotionally manipulated into doing this. It's like no, seriously, like, because I hear what you guys are saying. It's just like, especially with like with the daughter in the film, and Bruce Willis is like, "Listen, babe, I made you a promise. I'm breaking." And you're like, "Oh my God, Bruce Willis broke a promise! Like, how can he do this?" And then you cry throughout the whole thing, and it's just like, "What the fuck? What the fuck?"
Who's the son? Is it, or not the son? The daughter's boyfriend. Is it Ben Affleck? Is that who that is?
Yeah, Ben Affleck.
He's so good when he's saying "I love you." I think his name's Harry in the movie. He's like, "I love you, Harry." Like, he's on the ground crying, trying to get to him. Oof.
Yeah. Yeah. No, Ben Affleck acting is always a surprise to me. And see him go for that kind of drama in Armageddon, I'm just like, "Oh, baby, you're milking the cow."
Do you I definitely have fun, Holmes, and I had fun with you, enjoying her being here again on a Sunday. You got anything to plug?
I gotta plug everything, man. Let me plug two things really quick.
I have nothing to plug, so we're gonna say goodbye, and when you're done plugging, we're done recording. So everyone have a good day. Erika?
Have a good night.
And so you plug your biz, and then give us a clap, and I'll hit this big square.
Okay. So plugging two things really quick. One, come listen to the Sci-Fi Theater Epic show of If They Won't Listen, Space Made in the Hollywood Basement with me, Captain Spencer, and then our cool little fun guy, Lieutenant Leon. We're talking about Star Trek. We got sci-fi movies coming up in Halloween, so come check us out. Enjoy the show. I hope you two are there. And check me out on Letterboxd, all right? Rufio86. Read my reviews. Like, don't like. If you don't like it, leave me a comment. Tell me what's wrong. Let's share an opinion about a movie. Let's have some fun. Make friends.